Hi, welcome everybody to my little podcast, my little interview. I want to introduce myself. I'm Dianne Bondy, and I'm here with my colleague, friend, and mentor, Miss Dana Smith, who has written an amazing book called Yes, Yoga Has Curves, and you really do have to get your copy, and we're going to tell you how to get your copy at the end of our little broadcast here. It's an amazing book. I met Dana exactly a year ago this month in Washington, D.C. when we were shooting the book. And I just want to thank you, Dana, for inviting me to be a part of your epic and very important project. Thank you so much for joining me today, Dana.
Thank you for having me and thank you for being part of it. It was a great experience.
It was
And
an
it's been a
honor.
year already. Wow.
Like a year, I think next weekend is when we met in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience to be a part of your book. So Dana, I want to know a little bit more about you, a little bit more about what your vision is, and a little bit more about what you're doing in the community and how we can support you in making this yoga, yes, yoga has curves, a international success. I wanted everybody to get a look at this book and get a look at what you're doing. So tell me, how did you get started in yoga?
Well, my anniversary for yoga is coming up soon. I got started when I was pregnant with my daughter. 9/11 had just happened, and I was going through a great amount of stress, physical stress, mental stress, emotional stress, and I didn't know what to do. Nothing that I did prior to becoming pregnant was appropriate. So I really opened myself up to a new way for my sake and for my daughter's sake. And yoga was presented to me, and someone was saying that, yoga will help you to relax, it'll help your body. And I resisted it initially, but when I started it, it was life changing right away.
Nice. Wonderful, wonderful. Who are some of your teachers or biggest influencers in your practice?
So I started with yoga AM PM. So Patricia Walden and Rodney Yee, they were the first faces of yoga that I saw. But to be honest, I love Shiva Ray. I did a few trainings with her, a lot of workshops, and I love her style because it takes yoga kind of out of the box and into that body and that flow. And it was amazing. The first class, I was like, wait a minute, is she dancing or is she doing yoga? but
Wonderful.
she's a huge influence on me. And you, you,
Wow.
you, you, yes, yes, yes. Um, just seeing different options because I was always one to just study about different styles. I don't believe one style of yoga is better than the other,
Yep.
but seeing diversity,
Hmm.
seeing people that really have a heart and a lightness about it, that's what really draws me to these different teachers.
Wonderful, wonderful. So in your community, you're in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area. What does a typical yoga class look like in your area, in your studio and in your space?
Well, at my studio, predominantly women
Hmm.
and actually women of color. So 98% of my student base is African American, and 95% of that, they're women.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's great because they're all various shapes and sizes and ages. What
Nice.
I'm seeing is that my yoga practitioners, their age range is the average is 30 to 60.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a
30 to
broad
60.
range. 30 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So what does a typical yoga class taught by Dana Smith look like?
Well, the first thing is we have to set an intention. And
Hmm.
I learned a long time ago that if you don't set an intention for whatever you're doing, it can go any way.
Right.
So we
True.
begin by just tuning out where we came from, work, kids, and just say, this practice is for us. Well, what do we want? Where do we need support in our life? So we'll sit and we'll start and we'll do some breathing techniques and then we'll get right to the flow. We'll
Nice.
get right to the flow.
So is your favorite thing to flow? Would you say you're like a kind of a vinyasa? Because that's Shiva Ray's ways to dance and to flow and to kind of embody the practice in that way. Is that true for you as well?
Mostly, in the style of yoga that I teach at the studio is something that I created myself. It's called Jivana, which
Oh,
stands for
nice.
life.
Nice.
And life is sometimes flowing and life is sometimes still.
Yeah.
So in a class with me, depending on kind of the energy of the room, we may start flowing. But then the true beauty of asana comes when you're able to hold it and reflect
Yes.
and be one with your body, breath, and mind.
Nice. I love
Yeah.
that. That might have to be a little hashtag there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. Along with yes, yoga has curves. I love that. I love that. So tell me about your here's what I love. So I learned from a teacher of mine, Jessica Good, about figuring out who you are in your yoga practice and what you have to offer. So my best favorite question from my training with her is, you plus yoga equals what?
Me plus yoga equals healing.
Nice.
Healing.
Nice. Healing. Beautiful. Beautiful. So tell me, I'm so excited about this book. Let me tell you, I was telling you earlier, everywhere I go, I have it. I show everybody. My mother is so proud of it. Like, let me tell you, she's in the hair salon with it. She's at the mall with it. She's at her exercise class with it. So I'm really proud of you, and I really love the book. It's absolutely gorgeous. Tell me, what inspired you to do the book, and what were some of your challenges with getting this book to print?
So, what inspired me was really the frustration I was feeling of seeing just one body type,
Yeah,
one
absolutely.
race
Yes.
of yoga. And I had been getting Yoga Journal for many, many years, and I noticed at some point it changed,
Okay.
where there was like different ages, different sizes. Not a lot of people of color on the covers, but there were some. And then I think it had to be maybe like mid 2000, like 2005, something changed.
Hmm.
And then every cover, it was just very thin, very Caucasian, very, very, very bendy. And it initially made me question my practice. I said,
Okay.
well, am I doing yoga? Because I'm not doing that.
Right.
And I don't look like that. And on the cover, it would be like, the great yoga body or the perfect yoga body or this is yoga.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, you know what? That's not all that yoga is. I look at my students on the mat in my studio, and they have various shapes and sizes, and they're moving, and they're bendy and they're strong, but they may not look like that, but they embody the practice. So I said, you know what? We need to show people that yes, yoga has curves, yoga has hips, yoga has everything. And I said, even if this book goes nowhere, I'm
Hmm.
going to do it because there was something in my spirit of saying, okay, just do it, just do it. And Diane, this book came about right when I was planning my wedding.
Oh, wow. You like to be
I was
busy.
Yeah, I got married in April of last year, and in the wedding planning process, this theme kept coming up. I wanted women of fuller bodies to feel empowered, to feel
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
And the challenge was, who's going to buy this?
Right.
Who's going to help me bring this from my mind and my dreams into a physical form book?
Yep.
And people, and I talked to people, and they were like, well, sounds good, but no one has really done it before. And I was like, well, I want to do it. So honestly, I went out there and I did a fundraiser. I called my family, my friends, and I said, you know what? This is in my spirit, in my heart. It's got to get done, and I just need help. So I swallowed my little pride, and I got help, and I got help,
And you
and
got
it's
help.
done.
And it's done, and it's absolutely beautiful. So if you haven't picked up a copy, I'll be sure to add a link on here where you can get your copy of Yes, Yoga Has Curves. Maybe Dana, you can tell us this on the website, and I'll make sure that we create a link to the website so that everybody can get a copy of this book, because you gotta have it. You really gotta have it.
So we sell it on yesyogahascurves.com, and we're on amazon.com.
Yay! All right, we're going big
So
time. We hit the big time.
right,
Nice.
right. Yes,
Good.
yes, yes.
Yeah, so make sure you get it. I'll add a link to yesyogahascurves.com. Beautiful website, beautiful people in the book. Wonderful. I really love your activism behind this. Tell me, how do you think we can start to create more diversity in yoga across the country? I know because you're in an area that has a bigger population of people of color. How do we encourage people of color to come to the mat? I mean, maybe outside of the DC area, because that was the first thing I noticed in DC. All these people of color doing yoga, and I was at Pi Studio in Arlington, Virginia, and her whole teacher training was bigger bodied black women, and I this is my first exposure to it, living all the way out here in Canada with my limited exposure to that. So tell me, how do you think we broaden this conversation? How do you think we bring more diversity to the mat?
So training more people, because
Absolutely.
I was, my teacher trainings, they look exactly the same. We go out there and we learn how to teach and we take it into the community.
Hmm.
Social network is a huge thing. Everybody, my mother's on social network. So showing a presence on social networks, doing workshops, taking your teacher training, outside of your box, just finding opportunities, and I call it passing the torch.
Nice.
So people are more open to doing something if they see representation.
Absolutely.
And if more of us learn to teach yoga and then go out and teach it and share it, we'll definitely open up everyone's eyes that, yeah, yoga is very diverse.
Absolutely. I think that's excellent. Oh, you got a little tickle there, huh?
Yeah, I have allergies, and it's like it wants to be winter one moment, spring the next, and summer's back. So
Oh,
excuse me.
oh, wow. So, tell me, what was the greatest lesson you learned from either your yoga teacher, your yoga practice, or your life surrounding yoga and your representation of it?
The greatest lesson I learned is that I can be and do anything that's on my heart.
Nice.
I can be and do anything that's in my spirit.
Nice.
That no one defines me but myself. No one sits with me but myself. And the sky's the limit.
Nice.
Sky's the limit.
Awesome. That's so inspirational. Thank you for sharing that. I want to thank you, Dana. Before we go, what other projects do you have on the horizon that we can talk about and that people can get to practice with you in person? You've got anything coming up that you'd like to share with us?
Well, I'm doing a book signing in Charlotte, North Carolina. So if
Nice.
anyone is watching in there in Charlotte on January 17th, we'll be doing Yes Yoga Has Curves book signing at Thrive Yoga Studio in Charlotte.
Nice.
I'm working on volume 2. Can you believe
Yay!
it?
Are you kidding? Wow, that's
Yes.
awesome.
So we'll be taking submissions in December, and you can submit on the website yesyogahascurves.com. Um, Definitely starting to plan workshops, and hopefully we can bring it to Canada, bring
Bring
some
it.
curves to Canada.
Bring it, please.
Yes. So if they go to the website, Yes Yoga Has Curves, or like us on Facebook, Yes Yoga Has Curves, we are very active and you can see all the things going on. But we're going to be doing pop-up workshops,
Nice.
pop-up classes, again, showing everybody that there is diversity regardless of what you're seeing right now, but the tides are changing.
Tides are definitely changing. I want to
Yeah.
thank you very much, Dana, for joining me today for this podcast. It's been an absolute honor to talk to you and be a part of your projects. We're gonna continue to support you. We're gonna share this everywhere. So don't forget to hook up with Dana. Yes, Yoga Has Curves on Facebook. She also has an Instagram page. So it'd be a great way, maybe even to show her what you're gonna submit by posting some pictures with the
Yes.
hashtag Yes Yoga Has Curves on it.
Yes.
So please share what you do. I think what's really important and what this book inspires and does is changing the common aesthetic we see in mainstream media. So the only way that we change that aesthetic is that we show everybody on the mat. Not only do we show the current aesthetic, but we also show how that aesthetic evolves to include women of color, different genders, different sizes. We really need to broaden the scope, and we do that by sharing ourselves. So don't forget, share your photos, your curvy photos on Yes Yoga Has Curves Instagram. Don't forget to hashtag it. Don't forget to connect with Dana on Twitter. It's SC Yoga on Twitter and Facebook. So let's get the
Yes.
conversation going and let's blow this up big, girl. So
Yes.
thank you again for joining me, Dana. It was an absolute honor.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
All right, I was gonna turn off the recording. Oh.